Hey everybody, it's Aquila, and this is a Lefty Knitter podcast, episode 207. Today is June 6th. It is Tuesday, and I have a finished object to show you guys. But first, any details will be down below. If you have any questions, make sure you put it down in the comments. And I want to thank everybody who keeps coming back to watch and any new subscribers who have found me. So, yay. I'm almost at Is it 2,000 subscribers? Yeah, 2,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please click that button and subscribe. That would be awesome. I looked at some of the statistics and I did see that I have quite a few viewers that don't subscribe, but that's okay. It's fine. I don't know. Some people don't want to have that. Like, I subscribe to quite a few people, but I do not turn on the notifications. Honestly, I just go through my queue. I can't, If I had notifications for every video, it would be a little insane. Live in Baltimore. This is a yarny podcast, so knitting, crocheting, whatever I'm feeling like getting into, and then I try to post on the weekend. I record clips and then I post. So here we go. Finished object. You guys saw these practically almost done. Now, I was here. I needed to do pretty much the toe. And then these were tubes. So now they have heels in them. So they're done. So let me tell you about the yarn. The yarn is from Barley Hops and Yarn. This is my friend Jen. And this is called Birdland. It is a 75/25. And I did a cut and heel. I only have the tiniest little nugget left. Not tiny. I don't know how big it is. But maybe like 10, 15 grams? Not sure. So yeah, I have that. These are done. I did these on my 9-inch circular needles. I love those so much. And then when I cut in my heels, I switched to magic loop. And for my toes, I do magic loop also. So Birdland is a reference to the Baltimore Orioles. And I did a 3x1 rib on these. There you go. Barley Hops and Yarn. The only other thing for today that I have to show you is I started swatching for the Ripple Camisole, which is by Jessie Maed Designs. I'm using this yarn. It's a cotton from ayahuasca. I know that's wrong. I don't have the label. I don't know where it is. Okay. It says to swatch with a 4. Now, I know I haven't blocked this yet, but I feel like it's really see-through. I feel like it shouldn't be that see-through already. So I am going to I'm going to do a few more rounds. So when I do block it, I have a decent amount, because you're doing a 3x3 rib. That is not a secret. It is in the gauge swatch instructions on the main page in Ravelry. So yeah, this was going well on my ball winder for quite a bit, and then I don't know what happened, so I just hand wound it and squished that ball. So the only thing I didn't like, I love my carbons needles, but I noticed, at least with this yarn, it was sticking right here where the join for the carbon piece and the metal tip, the knitting tip, it wouldn't slide real easy. It's not, I've never had a problem with just like wool yarns. So this is a different blend because it's cotton. And so I am going to go down one needle size and I'm going to switch to my bamboo needles and we're going to try these out. I'm going to do a few more rows, like I said, to kind of get a bigger surface area for gauging. And then I'm going to do a bunch of rows with a 3. So I'm going to try. These are just clover. I have a wooden set of interchangeables, but of course they don't go down to 3. Most interchangeable sets are size US 4 to 10 and a half, 11, something like that. And so 3 is not included in that. So I'm going to use those. These don't have a terrible join. And sometimes I like bamboo and sometimes I don't. So I might not like it with the cotton. So we'll have to figure that out. All right, I'm going to insert a clip that I recorded previously because we already gifted these socks. So check that out. Today's Sunday, and I crinked a pair of socks this morning because I had a moment to do so. This yarn was purchased by me at, I believe this was Frederick Fiberfest, the spring edition of 23, and Hazel picked this color out for her teacher, and we have like a week and a half left, so I was like, I gotta get these done. So this is gonna be like an end of the year gift, and yeah, so this is Polymorph Dye Works, I believe. It's Polymorph Dye Works. I don't think it's Polymorph Color Works. Polymorph Dye Works. So I cranked these on my Earlbacker 64 stitch. I did a Picot hung hem, and I believe the colorway, well, I think it's Lagoon. Hazel had asked her teacher what color she liked and the size of her foot. So we got that information and Hazel picked out yarn. So I just wanted to show these because these might end up going away and I might not have a chance to show them off before Hazel decides she needs to like sneak them in her backpack. I want to wrap them up for her, but we'll see what happens. Super cute. All right, I just had to show that. So yeah, on to the next clip. Hey everybody, it is June, what is today? The 8th, it's Thursday. I have a finished object to show you. I told you guys I was killing it. I was definitely kicking some butt on trying to get these whips done. So I hope everybody, so we are in Maryland. If you've been watching for a while, you know that. And we're getting all these winds from that's blowing down from Canada. I know New York, if you saw pictures yesterday, it was like orange. The air quality is like super high, warnings, kids are not allowed to be outside for recess or outside activities. So I hope everybody is just taking every precaution possible. I have a feeling it's going to be a little hard for me to be outside today. I do have to go out to like water our garden and pick up haze and whatnot, but I feel like I'm going to struggle because of all my breathing issues I've had. So I hope everybody is, being as safe as possible that they can be. I mean, I can't even imagine what it's like closer or in Canada. So, I just look outside and it's just a haze. So, So first off, I just needed to say that because it's supposed to be like from what I've watched on the news, I think today after 4 to 6 o'clock, it's supposed to be the worst it's going to be here. So yeah, I told Hayes she probably is not swimming in the pool. My little vegetarian. Okay, sorry. So I'm going to get to the finished object, I promise. I made falafel. So I made the dough because it has to be refrigerated. I've never done this before. I never made falafel. So if you don't know what falafel is, it's like Mediterranean type flavors, and it's chickpeas mainly. It's chickpeas. You put onions or why can't I think of the other word? Shallots. That's it. And like other spices in these, and it's a dough, and then you fry it. And my oldest daughter is also, well, she said she broke vegan, but so I don't know if she's going to go back or if she's going to stay vegetarian. That's too much business, I'm telling you guys. But I made falafel last night, and even John was like, this is good. So I am very excited that I made falafel. I've had falafel before. I've had good falafel and I've had bad falafel, and this was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. If I remember, I will post the link that I used down below for the recipe that I used. And it was really exciting to get parsley from our garden and use that in our dish last night. So that was great. Whew, very winded. Let's get to these. Ready? This is the Deco Lace Mitts by Sarah Jordan. And I had gotten some yarn from Fiber Nymph Dye Works. These were in her booth at Frederick Fiber Festival. And Hazel automatically fell in love. I don't know where my label is. Oh, here it is. Okay. And Hazel loved them. So I'm going to show you guys right now. So it's Fiber Nymph Dye Works. It's the Inversibles set on the bounce base. I know I still have to do the drawing for this. I promise I'm going to get to that. magenta and graphite. This is the 2 cakes. I wanted to weigh it because I was curious of how much I used. So real quickly, let's weigh this because I am curious. Oh my God, like I have 36 grams left out of 50. So I used, what, 14 grams. 14 grams for each mitt. So technically, I can make another set and then I'll still have some yarn left over. I really wanted to make myself some shorty socks out of these, but Hazel wants me to make the same fingerless gloves for her bestie friend. So, I'll probably do that. But it's summer now. Well, it's not summer yet. It's almost summer. So I'll get to it. Last time you guys saw these, I had no thumbs. We're done. I'm going to put these on real quick because they look so pretty. And I was at the part where the ghost is on this one. So I was about here. So I did this. And I know these look, I mean, they fit me. I wasn't going to make the smallest size. There's 3 sizes. I decided to make the medium because they're still going to fit Hayes and then they'll grow with her as long as she doesn't lose them. So I finished, like I said, from here up, and then I put thumbs on. They're so pretty. Look at them. Okay, so I really, like, the yarn is just beautiful, first off. Lisa, you do an amazing job. And these mitts. Now, I believe Sarah Jordan is PA Knitwit on Instagram. And I've met her, so yeah. Look how cool these are. I need to take some pictures. They're pretty cool. And I did them, not totally actively working on them, but they were done in like a month. So pretty quick knits, and I still have a lot of yarn left over. And technically, if I'm used only 28 grams total, you could easily use some scrap yarn and do your own striping, or just do scrappy ones. They would be beautiful. So there you go. They're done. All right, I just had to show you that because it's done. Now, let's talk truth right now. Truth is, I swatched for that Ripple camisole. I didn't block it. I kind of measured it half. I wanted to say the A word. I measured it not to my greatest potential. And yeah, truth bomb is I'm going to just cast on. I'm going to use the size 4s. I did switch to, I have another set of wooden needles. They're not the bamboo that I showed you, the clovers that were 3s. They're a size 4, and I can't remember. I'm going to go back up to the 4 because between the 3 and the 4, I didn't really notice a huge difference. The only thing I am doing is I am going to reverse the way I wrap my first purl stitch. Now, this is nothing I'm giving away. In the pattern, it tells you to swatch in a 3x3 rib, right? So it's a 3x3 rib. On that first purl stitch that I'm making, it's longer and it gives a wider gap. And I know people have talked about like tightening up that stitch or whatever else. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of combination knitting, technically wrapping my first purl stitch the opposite way. So then when I get back to it, I'll just purl it through the, I'll just make sure that the stitch is sat straight, not twisted when I go in the round. Because when you go backwards, you would then be knitting it and you knit into the back. But when you're going in the round, it'll still be a purl stitch. So I'll just have to purl into the back leg of that stitch, wrapping it correctly. And then every other round, I'll be wrapping that first purl stitch opposite, making it sit on your needle backwards, making it a twisted stitch. And that's why you have to purl in the back. I know I did it in my swatch, even though I didn't swatch in the round. Truth bomb. So it's going to be fine. I say that a lot. It's going to be fine. But it really is. I'm going to do it. I'm going to cast that on. Because technically, the only other thing I have on my needles is the Stephen West shawl, the shifting chevrons. And I have not gotten... you guys have seen no progress because I've made no progress. So I want to put more work in that, but now I really want summer tops. And I don't need a shawl for the summer, although it could take me that long. That shawl is huge. It could take me that long to get that shawl done. So I'm gonna put my stuff back in my naughty knitting sacks. If you have kids, avert their eyes because it's full of peni. Thursday. Wrapping this up. All right, it is Saturday and June 10th. Let's wrap this video up. So I finished a pair of socks on my Erlbacker machine. I cranked the first one at Yarn Centric and I never got to do the second one. I just ran out of time. So this was yarn that was gifted to me by somebody who had, it was, the person had passed away and it was in a stash, and I think it's Patton's Croy, but I'm not really quite sure. And I talked about this when I first showed it, I believe. And I still have some left. It didn't mind being cranked on my machine. I did have to do it 4 clicks longer stitches like normal when I do Patton's Croy. But I made the feet a little short. These are supposed to be for John. And yeah, they're a little short. And so I think they're just going to be my wintry boot socks. And that's totally fine. So I have 2. I'm just putting them on blockers. I closed the toe this morning. I finished the other one yesterday. Or I started it and I finished it yesterday. So they are reminiscent of like the old school white socks with the red, like the bands of color around the top. They called them like, I think a lot of times they called them like basketball socks, but they also called them, John called them Bobos. So I don't know if there was another name for these, but if you remember these type of socks and there was a name that you remember, put that down below because I'm curious, because I didn't wear these kinds of socks. I don't remember wearing these kinds of socks. All my boy cousins, not to be like gender whatever, but I feel like they had them more than I did. But I thought I would have worn them. Whatever. Okay, so here they are. They are finished. They were 2 different grays. So I decided to do the heels and toes and then some stripes in the opposite color. And I did notice the darker gray was thicker than the lighter gray. I'm telling you, darker colors, I can tell the slightest difference on my machine. Hand knitting, I can't tell it that easily. But darker colors, I seem to find that they're just the tiniest bit thicker. I'm just saying. But I have 2 socks. So these are done. And now they can go in my drawer for like wintertime because these are going to be super warm. And they'll be actually really great. Hiking and whatnot. So yeah, I have these done. The only other thing that I've now worked on is I cast on the Ripple Camisole by Jessie Maed. I am doing the size large, which is a 40-42 bust. I think that's the bust size. That's not the finished measurement. I can't remember, but it's the large. There you go. I cast it on. I told you guys I was kind of swatching and then I didn't swatch and I didn't block it and whatever. But it's here. Size 4, US 4s. This yarn, because I don't think I actually said it in this episode, is the Huasco Cotton. And this is the color, well, I don't know if it has, Machu Picchu, color 1014. They had a lot of pinks and purples. I think I said that when I showed the acquisition of this. And I decided to go with something that was different. My ball winder, or the skein, gave me a hard time, and I got half of it on the ball, and then I just hand wound all around the cake, and it just looks terrible. It's workable. So I don't have much done, and I'll put a stitch marker in so I can show you guys my progress, but you have to do like, I don't know, inches. Lots of inches. So there you go. It's a 3x3 rib. I was experimenting with doing the combination knitting. I don't think it's making much of a difference. I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just going with it. Again, it'll be fine. I think I was showing you guys the inside or the outside. It really doesn't matter. It's just a 3x3 rib. But I'll put a marker and be able to show you progress. Can you see? This would be the first purl stitch going this way. Going this way. See how my first purl stitch is a little longer? It's a little longer. Sorry, I'm covering my mouth. And even when I was doing the combination knitting, it didn't look like it made much of a difference. Oh well. I have not watched anything new. I've been still watching Abbott Elementary because I have not fully caught up with all the episodes of that show. I love that show. It's really great. But I did finish 2 books. I finished The Midnight Library, so I had that one on hold. That one's by Matt Haig. That one I've had on hold with my library for like weeks. I think it was like 8 or 9 weeks before it came. I guess it's pretty popular. Thought it was really popular then, but it's still really popular. That was interesting about the choices you make in your life and how one little choice can, in possible alternate universes, change everything. Like, there's infinite possibilities that could happen in multiple lives that you could possibly having if you believe in that type of thing. So it was really interesting to see the choices that she's like, oh, this made me happy. I want to go into the life where I'm doing this. And come to find out that might not have been the life that she really thought she wanted. So it was a very interesting read. I listened to it. It's an audiobook. Well, it's not just an audiobook. I chose to listen to it. The person who was reading the book, I really liked the person that was narrating it. So I really enjoyed listening to that. I mean, I listened to that in like, I don't know, 3 days on and off. The other, so I gave that one. I wouldn't say that's a book that I'm like, oh, you have to read it. Like, it's life-changing. But I didn't give it out of 5, I gave it a 4. So there you go. The other book I read, so we had... Sorry, y'all. This is censored for privacy issues. I mentioned something I shouldn't have. Let me cut that out. All right. At my job, we had a person talk about books that they have read and that, she's a big reader. She reads a lot, and she reads a lot of deep books. I have a whole list. If anybody's interested, I can post that list of they're pretty heavy books. I'm not quite sure. There was maybe a few that I was like, ooh, I'd really like to read that. When I'm in the right headspace to read like a super heavy book, so if anybody is interested on that list that I had gotten from somebody, maybe that's totally what you like to read. I actually will just list it down below. I'll put all of them down below so you have them. We then talked afterwards because all the people that were like book lovers came to the little meeting we had, and we all started talking about different books. There was people that were like super heavy romance, like erotica type readers. And then there was like people that were real light, like, or read a mix of books. And then I was talking about some of the queer and LGBTQ books that I was reading to them. And they, everybody was talking about, and some of us had read some of the same books and some of us hadn't. And it was really great. And one of the people had mentioned a series called the Whatever After series. I'm not quite sure what this age range is targeted for. I'll try to look it up and put it here. It was definitely very light-hearted. In my opinion, I guess it would maybe even be middle school. But she said she goes to them because they're interesting takes on fairy tales. And I did read the first of the series because it is a whole series, and the first one was called The Fairest of All, which is obviously Snow White because the mirror, who's the fairest of them all. And those are written by a Sarah, I'm going to not pronounce the right name correctly. I will have that down below. It's MLYNOWSKI, and I'll put that down below. I enjoyed the book. And I mean, I listen on 1.5 speed, sometimes 1.2. This was like a 4-hour book, maybe 3 hours. So it was relatively short, which was perfectly great. I didn't like the narrator. I didn't like the twinge of whatever accent. I just didn't care for that. So, will I listen to the others? Probably. Does the narrator annoy me a little? Yeah. But I might be able to push through it. And sometimes they're not all read by the same people. So I will take a look at that and see if it's the same narrator. It might be. It might not be. I don't know. But it's all different fairy tales. I saw there was like Little Red Riding Hood and there was this and that and whatever. So if you're interested and if maybe your kids of that age range are interested, I would say I would recommend them to Hayes. Not quite yet. I think she could struggle through them a little bit as almost turning 8. She's doing chapter books and stuff, but I think maybe in a year or 2 they would be probably good for her. But again, I said middle school, but maybe they're more like 4th, 5th grade. I don't know. I would have already put the age range up here because I am going to Google that. So, yeah. All right. I have to get this uploaded. I have to package up some stuff. I recorded the Fiber Nymph winners, so I don't know when that's out, if it's already before or after this. Because I had slacked and didn't do that, and I want to get those out the door. So I hope everybody's well. Today is actually Knit in Public Day, Worldwide Knit in Public Day. Also, Worldwide Crochet in Public Day too. I would not discount that. I mean, I feel like they're not interchangeable, but I feel like if you are a crocheter, don't let that put you off, because I feel like you should just go out there and put yourself out there, because honestly, people, okay, especially if you're a person who likes to talk about your craft, go out in the world and knit in public somewhere. At the coffee shop, at the brewery, maybe just out with friends in a picnic, whatever. I am going to take my knitting today to a birthday party. I don't know how much I'll actually get done, but I'm going to take it because I can. And I'm going to knit around people I don't know. And that always generates a conversation. So I'm down for that. Not that I am a complete extrovert, but I don't feel like I'm really an introvert either. So I'm a good mix. I just guess maybe it depends on the time and place and my headspace, all the things. So yeah, Knit in Public, Worldwide Knit in Public Day. So go out, get some crafting done, enjoy yourself, and take care of yourself and your mental health. Right now I am doctoring a husband who somehow got poison ivy terrible, and he does not do well with poison ivy. He's been hospitalized in the past. So that is happening. So all the good well wishes to John down below, because yeah, if you've ever had it, which knocking on wood, I don't remember ever having poison ivy. I shouldn't say that, because now I'll probably get it. But I was in Girl Scouts for many years. But maybe I was a smart Girl Scout and I didn't touch poison ivy. But I'm sure there's other people out there that are just like John who have like really severe reactions to it. So yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. All right, so take care of yourselves, check in on others, do the things that make you happy, and peace, love, and happy crafting. Until the next episode.